Aaron Rodgers gave us a drawn-out draft storyline back in 2005. We thank him so much for that, yet it still feels like it's going somehow. 18 years later, drama is still being provided as the first round approaches with Aaron Rodgers. What is the latest that you can tell us between the Packers and the Jets in their trade negotiations?
Well, Jamie, I'm in the green room, so somebody on one of these couches back here will have an Aaron Rodgers like, wait, it's just how it goes. 17 prospects will be in the green room come Thursday night. Somebody's going to be the last one to exit and end up hearing their name called. But with regard to Aaron Rodgers, the Jets and the Packers have re-engaged in recent days on a trade discussion that has been ongoing now for several months. The Jets and Packers and Aaron Rodgers all have the same goal, which is Aaron Rodgers, the four-time NFL MVP, ending up as a member of the New York Jets. However, the exact price tag has been a complication and has been subject to these talks here for multiple months. Now, there's a pressure point that's obviously arriving in the next 24 to 48 hours that the Packers, if they want to get a pick in this year's draft or multiple picks in this year's draft, need to have this trade agreed to in advance of Thursday night. For the Jets, they obviously are motivated to get this thing wrapped up, know who their quarterback is, and not have this drawn out into the rest of the spring and the summer. So the discussions are ongoing. They're not there yet. My understanding is they're not far apart in terms of what the compensation would be, but there is no close. It's either a done deal or it's not. As of this moment, as of a few minutes ago, there was no deal in place. There was nothing imminent here. Things could happen quickly. Again, because these discussions have been ongoing, they're not that far apart. But we shall see if and when Aaron Rodgers actually becomes a member of the New York Jets. Guys.
So I've never heard the English language manipulated more when Tom Pelissero says they are not far apart, but there is no close. There is just that or there is done deal. Tom, that's a hell of a job you're doing out there. We appreciate you in Kansas City. We'll hang and talk to you more in a little bit. Exactly. Aaron Rodgers and company and the teams that are involved in his situation continue to keep the storyline interesting. Stories, though, that we'll be keeping our eyes on in the final days leading up to the draft will be as follows. Kyle.
This is the one. Yeah. Let's just stay here.
Yeah.
You know, Bryce Young going to Carolina. That's great.
You didn't like my Jim Caldwell influence take to start the show?
I like it all. Aaron Rodgers going to the New York Jets is like a pretty big deal. And I just love this talk that like talks have picked back up. So it's Goody and Big Joe, and they get back on the phone and like, is there this icebreaker? Hey, how you been? Yeah. Man, could you believe Succession? Yeah. Man, that was crazy. I didn't see that coming at all. Anyway, Joe, you're gonna give us that first round pick? Nope. Okay, well, let's I don't know, let's try it again in 48 hours from now because we still want it. And he's like, well, that's great. We're not giving it to you. Someone has to budge. It's just like we talk about with Lamar all the time. Like, Lamar wants something that the Ravens don't want to give him. Until someone says, we lose, nothing happens. And so we've known for this entire month, going back weeks now, that the draft is going to be the great equalizer. Something's going to have to move it. But I don't understand how the talks pick back up. There were talks, intense talks, and both sides decided what they wanted, and they couldn't come to resolution. After taking a couple weeks off, it doesn't matter unless you dramatically change your take. And I surmise still that I think that the Packers want the 13 overall pick. I think they want that. They're like, we're giving you the best Packer ever. Give us the 13. It's just that Joe says no. And so until we get to Thursday night or maybe even Friday, then it's changed dramatically. I love this because it's just a staring contest. You could take 2 weeks off or 2 years off. Nothing's going to change.
I remember specifically talking to folks at the NFL League office, and I asked, what moment in NFL history at the draft had the biggest, rating spike? Can we do that analysis? And the word I got was that when the Cowboys were on the clock, the Manziel draft, Johnny Manziel was available on the board. The Cowboys are on the clock, the Texas hero, and they took Zach Martin. And the ratings still went up higher. I see the legend on the board, but that moment, it went, whew.
What a great pick.
It was smart.
Great pick. Smart. Well, the legend is the card was taken out of Jerry's hand.
There's a lot to
and then he wanted to get Johnny.
But
that's the spike moment. Okay.
That spike moment. I think night 2, if Rodgers is still on the Packers and the Jets' second-round pick is on the clock at 42nd, I can imagine everyone changing over from the NBA playoffs, over from the NHL playoffs. What's Rappaport got? Like, where are we at with this thing? Because the second those picks are made, the value goes significantly down. Like, the Packers aren't as interested in the Jets' third-round pick. Like, there are 2 second-round picks. And if the Jets make those picks, well, then now there are no first, second, or third round, or first or 2 second-round picks. Like, that has to happen there.
And it could blow up, like, completely.
Yes.
You know? Wow.
And yet, I look at the highest spike on this thing. I think when the Colts are on the board at 4 is going to be the most interesting spot in the first round.
Okay.
We don't know what's happening at 2 definitively. We don't know who's even taking a pick at 3, but we do know that the Colts are most likely going quarterback. And we do know that there will be one of those quarterbacks on the board, whether it be a C.J. Stroud, whether it be an Anthony Richardson, or whether it be a Will Levis. We've also heard all 3 of those names tied closely to the Colts over the last few months. The most recent name that I've heard is that there are a lot of fans of Anthony Richardson in the room, and that Chris Ballard is a traits guy. What's a traits guy? He loves the physical ability and the upside, and let us have the highest ceiling. That might be Richardson. Last week, I heard from everyone in the league that they're hearing Levis is the guy, although Will Levis hasn't had a ton of follow-up calls or been brought back in the building or been... And then, of course, Stroud seems like the obvious pick. And it's like, if C.J. Stroud's on the board, do you take C.J. Stroud at 4th overall? Indianapolis at 4, a quarterback franchise that went from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck and has now had a revolving door of veterans and fill-ins and young guys who couldn't get it done. Who's the guy at 4? I think that's the most intriguing thing. And does Chris Ballard and Jim Irsay and, of course, our new coach, Shane Steichen, do they have the courage to pass on C.J. Stroud and take someone else that they might like more?
So many quarterbacks. Obviously, these guys that can go in the first round. Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay to the Jets. And yet I'm going to talk about a defensive player that some people said going into this draft, Jalen Carter might be the best player in the entire draft. The storyline I'm looking at come Thursday night is, where does he go? Schrager in our first hour said he doesn't know if Jalen Carter gets out of the top 6. With obviously Seattle picking at 5 and Detroit at 6, those 2 teams might be a backstop of where he possibly can go. Obviously, we saw him and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, on the HBO special, and they're talking about their thought process of not talking to anybody out of the top 10 and everything that's gone on and transpired. And I said it last week, when you watch that clip, you start to think, all right, 5 years from now, what does this clip sound like? As he's sitting in his living room and we're getting a chance to hear him talk, and he says, hey, I think a little bit my draft stock could be affected by obviously everything that's transpired in his time in Georgia, and him leaving the combine, him not finishing his pro day. And then you turn the film on for Jalen Carter and you're blown away about his ability and the way he plays the game. But then some people says, hey, well, he doesn't play every play hard. If he did, he'd be truly dominant. So many question marks around this prospect, yet so much upside in his athletic ability and what he's able to do on the field. There's the off-the-field issues and everything that has happened with him that I am interested to see how high up a team is willing to draft him, and then where he ends up in a spot where he can be developed and kind of taken care of and put in the best possible position to become a very good pro. I'm very interested to see where Jalen Carter ends up.
It really makes me sad to hear, someone say it so simply, that he could be, period, the best player in this draft, period. And a simple wrong decision that he made in January, where he was racing a car and a car accident was involved that 2 of his classmates at Georgia died in tragically. It's like the decision-making aspect, it's just such a sad story for Jalen Carter because his talent is right there. The names in this draft have been really fun to unpack, to see where they go, and the belief that that is your guy and how high are you going to swing for your guy. Anthony Richardson, where are you going, man? Where are you going? Because on this show earlier in the hour, 2 of us had him going 2nd overall. 1 of us had him going 3rd overall, and the other one, or 4th overall in terms of the quarterbacks, excuse me. 5 quarterbacks going off the board, 2, 3, and 4. This intrigue with this young man is because he's an unknown commodity. We don't know what he brings to the table. We've barely seen, compared to the other guys in the draft, what his tape looks like. We don't know that he does this in a pro-style offense. We just don't know, and that's what makes him a mystery. Who's going to believe in this guy enough to take him, and how high are you going to take him? Who's going to trade for him? Because the second a team makes a move for Anthony Richardson, that just further cements your belief that you are right in picking this quarterback. And when you think so steadfastly that you are going to make a move for somebody, and that's how right you are, it makes it even sexier. It makes it even more interesting.
It's incredibly sexy.
It is.
Wherever he goes, if it's 2 or if it's 30, it's fireworks.
Yes.
Like, that is one of the ones you care about. That is the one that's going to have the terrible tweets afterwards. That's going to have all the reaction. There's going to be more to that than to Bryce Young or CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Electricity, no matter where the hell he goes. I think he's going to go high. Like really high. I had him as I think he's going to be the second quarterback off the board because I think some team's not going to be able to resist himself.
I really value Peter King's insight, and I think Peter King had him going in the 20s.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
The range is interesting as well.
awesome.
He can go 4 to the Colts.
Yeah.
Kyle, I did want to circle back to something you said earlier in the show that pertains to your topic that you found most interesting with the Packers and how they have 10 picks to give.
They have 10 drafts.
And you could conceivably see them taking 10 pass catchers, and the translation loosely would be 10 middle fingers to North Jersey.
That's what I
think is
said,
how
I
you
think.
phrased
Yes.
it. Yes, and that you still stand by this.
And I think North Jersey invented the middle finger, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Right off Route 3.
If you don't know, Aaron Rodgers has never, in the whole administration, they never drafted a first-round weapon. Tight end, running back, wide receiver, they've never done it. So if they did it now, like it would not be a subtle gesture. Now look, they might say, no, it's because we have a new young quarterback, we're trying to build around him. Well, you didn't do it when Rodgers was a new young quarterback either. They just don't do it. See, Peter, you called out the 4 pick. I think the spike is at the 3 pick.
It could be.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing more exciting than the trade, than the huge trade. Oh my God, some team just went from 16 to 3 and they traded everything. That's electric. I love the 3.
Do the chime. We get ding, the
Ding,
pick.
ding, ding,
And the
ding.
logo
And
changes.
it's that logo change.
Yes.
Where it goes whoosh and it goes from the Cardinals logo to a Ravens logo. We don't even know.
Yeah.
And then everyone, it's the best. I love it.
Patriots. That's what I'm saying.
Patriots, yeah,
What
could
if
be a
they did
Patriots
it?
logo.
What if they did it?